All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about one of the biggest, most critical shifts happening in the global energy market right now, the absolute explosion of green hydrogen. And thanks to some incredible analysis from Kaiso Research and Consulting, we're going to break down the mind-boggling growth, the tech that's making it all possible, and, well, the global race for dominance that's already heating up. So let's get to it. So let's just start with one number, just one. $287 billion. That's the projected value of the global green hydrogen market by 2035. And just so we're clear, this isn't some tiny niche part of the energy world we're talking about. No way. This is on track to become a core pillar of our entire future net zero economy. And this chart, wow, this really puts that transformation into perspective, doesn't it? We are literally looking at a jump from just under $8 billion today to that $287 billion. That's a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of almost 40%. You know, that kind of trajectory isn't just growth, it's a sign that we're fundamentally rewiring our entire global energy system. Okay, so that leads to the obvious question, right? What in the world is fueling this fire? Why is all of this happening now? Well, it turns out it's not just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm. Three powerful forces all coming together at once, and believe me, they are changing everything. It really comes down to these three major catalysts. You've got the global push for net zero, which has everyone scrambling for a clean, flexible energy source. Then you have government stepping up with policies that are just unlocking billions and billions in investment. And finally, and this is huge, we have incredible innovations in the actual technology, electrolyzers, that are making green hydrogen cheaper and way more efficient to produce. And this really gets to the heart of it, the incredible power of policy. Think about frameworks like the U.S. Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, it's got this game-changing tax credit, $3 per kilogram. Or look at the EU's hydrogen strategy. These aren't just suggestions, they are pouring billions into these projects to take the risk out of it. And when the government de-risks something, you better believe private capital comes flooding in. All right, now let's get into the really cool part, the tech that's actually making all this happen. At the very heart of this whole revolution, you have these things called electrolyzers. Basically, they're machines that use clean electricity to split water into hydrogen and oxygen. Simple, right? But here's the thing, it's not a one-size-fits-all deal. There are actually two main pathways, two key technologies that are driving the industry. And this dual-tech approach is absolutely crucial. See, on one hand, you've got PEM electrolyzers. Think of these as the sprinters. They're super responsive, which makes them perfect for hooking up to renewables like wind and solar that, aren't always on. Then on the other hand, you have alkaline electrolyzers. These are the marathon runners, the cost-effective workhorses. They're ideal for those huge industrial-scale projects that need to run continuously. Having both options gives the industry incredible flexibility to meet pretty much any energy demand out there. So this tech boom, it's not happening in a lab somewhere. It's happening out in the real world. And it's literally creating a brand new global energy map. We're seeing different regions all racing to get ahead, to build the infrastructure of tomorrow and claim their spot as a leader. And yeah, it has absolutely sparked a global race for leadership. So let's do a quick tour, shall we? Let's look at the three key regions that are really out in front, pioneering this new energy future. First up, North America. And really, we're talking about a policy-driven powerhouse here, led by the U.S. That Inflation Reduction Act we mentioned, it has created one of the most attractive, most competitive environments for investment anywhere in the world. And as a result, you're seeing these massive production hubs just popping up, especially in places like Texas and California. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic to Europe. Now, Europe is playing the long game. They're the regulatory pioneer. Because they were a first mover, they're busy setting up the rules, the frameworks for a huge unified market. Think about massive projects like the European Hydrogen Backbone, which is all about creating pipelines across borders. They are, for all intents and purposes, writing the rulebook that everyone else will likely follow. And last but certainly not least, you have the Asia-Pacific region. This is the fastest growing hub of them all, and it's being fueled by two things: incredible manufacturing power and just vast renewable energy resources. We're seeing countries like China, India, and Australia making absolutely enormous investments. They are positioning themselves to be a dominant, if not the dominant, force in the global hydrogen trade. So let's recap. We've got explosive growth, game-changing technology, and a global map that's being redrawn before our eyes. Now, for anyone watching this, whether you're in business, an investor, or just interested, this creates a ton of opportunity. but also a ton of complexity. The real challenge now is figuring out how to go from just knowing this stuff to actually doing something about it. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? With a market moving this fast, with all these different pieces in play, how do you possibly get the clarity you need to make smart, confident decisions? That is the number one challenge. Well, this is where the source for all this analysis comes in, Kaiso Research and Consulting. This is exactly what they do. Their entire focus is on taking all of this complex market data and transforming it into clear, actionable strategies, basically helping organizations cut through the noise, navigate all this uncertainty, and find a clear path forward. Because at the end of the day, success in this emerging green hydrogen economy isn't going to be an accident. It's just not. The future is going to be defined by the people and the companies who are brave enough to act, but smart enough to guide that action with precise, data-driven insight. So if you're looking to turn these massive global trends into your strategic advantage, Kaiso is the place to get that deep analysis you need to make those confident, data-backed calls. The green hydrogen race is on. It has officially begun. The only question left is, who's going to be ready to lead it? Thanks so much for joining me.